Hello and welcome to my weekly video blog, and today on A.Vogel Talks Menopause we are looking at week 2 of the sleep month. Now if you like my tips and advice, then please subscribe and hit the bell icon to make sure that you're notified of my new videos each week. So here we are, week 2. Hopefully you've been putting into practice some of the tips from last week and that your sleep is improving. Today I'm looking at 5 other symptoms that are made worse by poor sleep. Now if I mention hot flushes and night sweats, most people think that the hot flushes and night sweats make your sleep worse, but it can also be the other way around. If you are getting poor sleep, you are going to wake up tired, your nervous system is not going to be rested, and that can then trigger more hot flushes during the day and more hot flushes and night sweats in the evening and during the night. So this scenario of poor sleep, daytime flushes and nighttime sweats can very quickly become a vicious circle, and it literally just goes on and on. The other thing that can happen is that obviously if you're being woken up in the middle of the night by night sweats, that's going to make it much more difficult for you to go back to sleep as well. So what can you do about this? What can you use to break this cycle? You can look at sage. Sage is traditionally used for hot flushes and night sweats. If you're using a sage tablet for night sweats, then take it with your evening meal. And I know a lot of you out there tend to take tablets just before you go to bed. The problem here is that if you take tablets on an empty stomach, they may well end up going right through you without being properly broken down. So take the tablets that you are using for sleep, as in things like magnesium and your sage tablets, with your evening meal. The other really important thing here is water, because if you have had lots of hot flushes during the day, you are going to be dehydrated, and dehydration will affect your nervous system, which will then affect your sleep and can then trigger the night sweats as well. So again, dehydration can be part of this vicious cycle. So remember, plenty of plain water during the day. And one of the things that I'm finding works really well, and a lot of women are coming back to me saying that this really does help, is to have a small shot glass of warm water just before you pop into bed. This is often enough to stave off dehydration during the night. So this can reduce your night sweats, it can help to calm the nervous system, and because you're just taking a little bit of extra water, it's not going to put pressure on your bladder, and you might find that you end up getting up less to go to the toilet during the night. So this little tip is worth a try, just a small shot glass of warm water. Number 2 is weight gain. Now we know that poor sleep can cause a steady creep of weight gain. We know too that poor sleep weakens your resolve, so you're more tempted by sweet things and things that make you feel more comfortable. And poor sleep can increase your food cravings. So there can be a whole range of issues here going on with finding it just that little bit more difficult to control your weight with the poor sleep. If you find that cravings are an issue, you could look at kelp. This is a nice one to help to balance thyroid function. But just remember, if you're on thyroid medication, that you can't take it. And remember the magnesium, that can be really good for sugar cravings as well. And some people do find that having a little evening snack can improve their sleep, and that will also help with controlling your appetite the following day too. Number 3 is joint pain, and this is a horrible one for several reasons. If you're in a lot of pain, it can be more difficult to get off to sleep, and because your sleep is shallower because of falling estrogen, then any movement that causes inflammation and pain in the joints is likely to wake you up as well. What you can do with this one, you can look at devil's claw. It's a nice remedy that's traditionally used for joint inflammation and pain. Remember too that poor sleep decreases your pain threshold. So any area of your health that involves pain is likely to feel worse because of your poor sleep. Number 4, brain fog. Oh, don't we know this one well? Poor sleep will interfere with your concentration. If you wake up and you're tired and you're irritable and you feel totally unrested or fatigued, that in turn is going to affect your concentration. It's going to affect your memory as well. You can look at remedies such as ginkgo biloba, and you can also look at the flower essence, concentration essence. And this is a nice one that you can take as and when you need it if you feel that you've really got to concentrate on something properly. The 5th one is fatigue, and so many women end up with general fatigue in the menopause. If you are getting poor sleep, then that fatigue is going to be worse as well. So again, this is another one that can become one of these real vicious cycles. The less sleep you have, the more fatigued you get, and the more fatigued you get, very often the more difficult it is to fall asleep at the end of the day. We have a lovely mineral drink called Balance that has things like calcium, magnesium and potassium in it, and this can give you a lovely little boost, and a lot of women tell me they find it really helpful. And I know in the office, if any of us get that kind of mid-afternoon slump round about 2 o'clock where we just want to crawl under our desks and have a nice little sleep, then I find it lovely. It just helps to give me that little bit of an energy boost and helps me to carry on for the rest of the day. The one thing about fatigue though is if you are getting it constantly, if it's really beginning to affect your quality of life, if it's affecting your job, if it's affecting everything, then there may be other reasons here. So it's important to get this checked out by your doctor. Things like low iron, especially if you've been getting really heavy or prolonged periods. It can be poor thyroid function, which we know creeps into the menopause. It could also be low vitamin D as well. So get these things checked out by your doctor just to rule them out. So hopefully this has given you a little bit more of an insight and for some of the things that you can do to help yourself. Next week, I'm going to be looking about bad habits before bedtime and what you can do to sort them. So I look forward to seeing you next week for another edition of A.Vogel Talks Menopause.